Yikes. Dan here, DD Speed Shop. So, working on this 57 Chevrolet, 2-door, 210 hardtop. On the last video, we put in some quarter panels and a rocker and this tail pan section. We're just kind of working our ways around. Now, the idea with this is like you got to go back to your roots, right? We're doing stuff El Cheapo in the old garage with a Chinese welder. I think the biggest expense has been Coca-Colas and a fresh pack of zip discs. Otherwise, everything else has been pretty cheap. So the story with this, I got this, well actually I bought it in the springtime, but let me bring it home till now. Long story short, a failed started project. Now the guy I bought it from didn't even start the project. It was started way back in probably the 80s or 90s type thing, and it was cut up and it was kind of left. Now back then you couldn't get panels, so it was 4 doors and other smacked up 2 doors to be using for repair panels. So I appreciate the guys what they did. They cut all the rust out. They did kind of a bunch of goofy things there, but that's where it was left, and it was completely stripped. A lot of parts were missing. Anyway, I bought it from who knows how many owners down the road since then, and that guy had collected a bunch of panels from another guy. Same story. The guy was going to do quarter panel patches, something along like this, and some little floor patches and all this little stuff, and decided no, I'm going to put full quarters on, full pan in, whatever the story may be. So these things sat in a box outside. And it's not the greatest panels. I mean, full panels are always nicer, and we actually don't have this front section on the other side. All we have is the rear. But hey, when the price is $0, that's the panel for me. We do have a rocker, so from here forward we have nothing. We may have to buy a panel. They're a couple $100, which unfortunate, but probably should spring for it versus trying to make it and screw around and load it full of filler. Buy the panel, right? That'll probably happen in the future because I don't have the panel today. Who'd have thought? But we'll get the camera set up. First things first, we're going to try and straighten this panel the best we can so we can get kind of a bit of an alignment there. I have a feeling we'll use almost all of this panel. Basically put it on there, cut, trace, do what we got to do. And then the rocker will be very easy to get taken care of. We'll be able to knock that out in a real hurry. We're just tacking that in. And then I'd like to rip this floor out and try and get as much nicely as I can out of it. But we'll see. We'll see how the night goes. It's almost supper time. It's a late start today. But, oh God, that floor's terrible. I ordered the floor pan. Unfortunately, it's one of them items that to overnight that thing, the shipping becomes more than the pan itself, so you're at the mercy of when there's enough stuff on a pallet. So hopefully I have it in the next couple of days, because that would really be nice. This thing would be all kind of metalled, tacked together. New set of doors we should be getting in the next couple of days as well, or I say new. I mean less crappy old doors. Put those on there. We can align the whole body. We can then kind of align the fenders. Once the pan is in, then we start doing front end stuff, motor trans, brakes. This thing will be like a car again. Oh, we do have to weld up that firewall. I forgot all about that. Maybe we should get on that at some point, eh? Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Now, since this thing was just a body floating in space for who knows how many years, the back of the cores got rolled in pretty bad here, which obviously if there's no frame or nothing, they take a little bit of the brunt there. Now all we're trying to do, get it kind of squared away. We're going to put this patch panel on, and it's got a little bit of extra material I'm going to cut off right here, but I want to try and line up this back section, which then rolls in here. This is actually not bad. It's a little folded up. I might just hammer dolly that real quick. But essentially, I want to cut this part of the panel out and leave this as much as I can weld in there. It should be fine. We'll run across the front and join it somewhere up there. Now, we want to make sure this panel can overlay as much as possible, so we'll get rid of some of these things, like body filler that'll hold it away. Man, this thing is custom. So we can put it right up against there. Now we're going to want to trace what the panel is. It's irrelevant how much of this panel we use. The problem is we don't want to cut past the panel because my metal stretcher is currently out of commission. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this junk off just so the panel will fit nice and easy. What's up, babe? And see if we get this thing stitched together real quick. Okay, so I got this panel gingerly cut. Now, this is the point where you have to decide how much of the panel you want to use versus how much of the factory steel you want to keep. Everybody has their own version of that. For me, whatever's easier. And that probably involves using a decent amount of this panel. Now, there's a bunch of ways to kind of fit this. This thing could use a bit more of a bow in it. But basically, as long as the front of the wheel well curve and the back fits in there, the middle is going to be what the middle is going to be, you know what I mean? The only part of this car that really matters is the wheel well that kind of matches. Back here, all can be hidden by bumper. Here is going to be trim. There's a lot to divert your eye away from the butcherness we're gonna kind of do here. So get that up where it's going to be, get that up where it's going to be. Now this is not a cut line, just an idea of what we have for material and how much can cut out. So what I'll probably do is start cutting up here and go across and get, you know, a bunch of this ugly metal out. Nice thing about Tri-5s, there is no inner wheel tub anything stuck to, so whatever you cut out for the quarter, that's all you really got to worry about. So once the new panel's on, we'll start, well, we might cut here down, whatever, we're going to cut. I might just cut the whole panel because I'm lazy. As you're cutting it, this will all be gone. So that's all that's behind it. So it'll be like a lap weld. So as we cut, we'll push this panel in so it'll become flush. And slowly but surely, this section right here will kind of curl back like a can opener, and we'll just peel it right off. Now, anybody thinking, oh, we could just save this? It's pretty butchered. There's supposed to be like a lip here, goes up and around. I've trimmed it for big tires, but this has nothing. It's ugly. It's obviously like, you know, 1/4 inch of filler in it the whole way around. This has been like body worked with an axe. Like, can you imagine, like, people call me a hack or ski repair, but like, look at this. This is prepared for body filler back in the day. Somebody, whatever the heck they did there, just schmoed it and painted it. So the fact that we have a full panel means it's a win. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna mask up this old paint, body filler and all that. You know, wear a mask if you can. We'll cut a fair bit of this out. We'll leave some here just so it has some strength. So we'll blindly cut around here. Mostly I want to do that just because I don't want to nick the tire. So I want to make sure I have that kind of as well as I can, which hopefully, like I said, goes up to here so I can cut up here and around. We'll avoid all this $500 tire. Now, you could pull the tire off, I guess, but we're not going to do that. I've decided we're going to use the whole panel. In previous, now here's where you can think ahead. We don't have enough panel for it because I don't know if this is used or what, but I've done it in the past where if you cut the panel kind of right on this line right here, the whole way up, but as you can see, ours starts higher, which is irrelevant. We might start a little lower, but it doesn't fall out the whole way. If you can join where trim goes, that really minimizes the amount of screwing around you have to do, because you're gonna have to body work, you know, whatever the section is. But the main lap is gonna be, you know, where the trim would be, so you could hide it. If you can hide your metal work, it saves you a bunch of time. And if you're lazy and terrible at it, like me, it's a real benefit. So look at the camera set up. We'll cut this out. It's gonna look real ugly, real quick, but once we be able to get the metal, the new panel, it'll be good. Now, when I cut up here I'll probably be pretty shy on it, maybe even right there. We want to make sure we got a good piece for this to grip so we can carry on our little curly Q. So we'll get it tacked all in these areas, and then the front can kind of hang in space and then cut around, and it'll make sense, trust me. So here's the ugliness. There was some filler there. It starts to get pretty crazy by the time you get here. I ground that down a little just so the panel can fit kind of flush. Unfortunately, it's had a patch panel put in, and you can see I stopped grinding. It's ugliness in there, and that's where our join line's going to be. So it'll probably be welded the whole way around there, and it'll just kind of give us some ugly tacks, and we're committed to a front panel. I mean, look at this. Like, this is, it's ugly. The wheel arch is ugly. I don't know. I'll look at, maybe we can just fabricate that one section and leave it. Either way, as you can see, there's no just flapping in the breeze. Somebody at some point, this is just some ugly panel someone had not even welded. It's pop riveted on. Pop rivets covered in filler. Classic 80s style repair. So what we're going to do now is set that panel up there, and we're going to start cutting away the metal and tacking it as we go. Start folding that metal back. I'll probably give it a slit here and here, something like that, just so it won't get caught behind this kind of wheel tub area. It just kind of floats. And yeah, start giving her, tack it in, and it'll amazingly look like a car in a hurry. This kind of looks cool like this. I kind of like the stock car vibe, but I don't know. We're going pro street or whatever we want to call it. People are saying that they fit a 15-inch wide tire or something like a 15-inch wide tire with this leaf spring kit. So that's a lot of tire. Those are 12s, 12 or 13, and there's lots of room. So a 15-inch wide tire, the bone stock 283, perfect. Okay, we got the welder set to butcher. We're gonna cheat. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna cheat. We're gonna put the panel right where we want it there. Front and back-ish. But I'm gonna give this a tack weld. Damn it. Stay. Oh, it's hot in the glove. Okay. Pretty much lined up there. We're gonna give it one more up front here. So now the panel's basically where it's gonna be. This is a little extra, we'll trim that down as it goes. Now what we're gonna do, start cutting. So I'm gonna cut this back section out real quick, and I'll kind of show you what we're doing. Okay, so we've got the panel tacked. Now what we're gonna do is we're essentially gonna cut through kind of the edge of this panel. We're gonna go through both panels, and essentially the factory metal will be pushed away, this will be pushed in, and we'll kind of go from there. So I'm gonna start up here a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see. So we have cut through both panels. I'm gonna move this over just a little bit. Now, do the bottom section. This vice grip's right in the way here. Isn't going as smoothly as I would have hoped, but oh, that's out of real estate. I'm just gonna have to make it happen here. Upside down. Okay, so now what we can do, hopefully you can see this okay. If I pull back on this and push on that, we can kind of stretch them together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that by hand because we're lazy. And now, oops, that's might be a little hot. So the new panel is flush mounted with the old structure. So I can probably let this go just a little bit. And we'll carry on cutting. I'll get this out of here, I'll show you again. I'm just gonna take a quick pause, but you can see we have our slice. So now we're welded, and you're like, well, you're just going over top of the panel. Yes, but see, this is the panel now on the back side. So as we continue to cut, that panel is going to roll around on the backside and we can just kind of yank it out. So I'm going to carry on. This is the trickiest part because the zip disc and little angles don't always work the best, but it is almost irrelevant where you cut, as long as the top panel and the bottom panel cut is the same, you're welding it. So we should be okay. And I mean, we're still pretty well lined up. I'm happy with it. The front isn't moving. We have our thing all kind of dialed together. We should be good. And then this becomes easy at the top. So I'll fast motion this and I'll show you again up here because it becomes much, much easier. This is kind of the tricky part, so I thought I'd show you that. We got that done. We'll be having dinner shortly. I forgot to mention, a lot of people, what they'll do is to put the panel on, they'll self-tapper it. I get lazy, I just, like I said, I just tack weld it. So the back's all kind of taken care of, ugliness, but welding will fix anything. You know, get it kind of close. Now obviously what happens is we have it flush there, but there's metal there still. So the panel wants to bulge up. So as you cut it, they'll cut it through, grab anything that you can, hammer handle, glove, vice grips, and push the panel until it becomes flush, tack it, cut, push, tack it, you know, just keep working your way the whole way down. And yeah, we should be able to cut a lot of this out. Now that I see it on here, I mean, we can weld it up in this section. Down here is ugly, but we'll just blast that right out. And then when we get our next panel, we can, you know, join them there or whatever we have to, wrap around and keep on giving her. So we'll get the camera set up again, and I'll probably show you the first couple, and I'm just gonna buzz through it because it's steak for dinner. Ooh. Got our tools, grinder, hammer handle. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of buzz it. You can go at a bit of a angle if you want. So the only distance we're gonna try and fill is the width of the zip cut or less. Close your eyes, I don't wanna get sparks in you guys. Okay, so now we've got a bit of a gap. I'm gonna get the hammer handle and see how that flexes. Now you don't want to go too far down, because if you push back here, it'll bow or all sorts of goofiness. So just kind of hold it. Actually, that's not bad right there. Look away. Push this back a little. You get the added benefit of smelling the hickory. Okay, that's good. Push this one back. Not bad. Now, you may also have it where, gentle buddy, the top, instead of having to push this in, you want to pull that out, in which case, flat screwdriver, pry bar, whichever. We'll carry on a little bit more, give you one more tutorial. So I don't know, go 6-8 inches at a time. You don't want to go too crazy. You want to leave as much structure in it as you possibly can. Look away. Oh, that was a miss. Oh no, it's good. One more. Now if you do this with self-tappers, you always have to pull out the friggin' bolt heads and then weld them all back. So laziness. Okay. So hopefully you guys see what we're doing. You can probably see this bow out because it's pushing against the metal. So we'll keep going real quick. Good view. Am I looking good? How's my hair? Okay. Okay, so we got it tacked and like I kind of pulled it out there. Hopefully I had the wherewithal to maybe slow it down during the edit. That's a pain to get. This is the struggle. Come on. Because ultimately, even though you're pushing it back, when you're welding the two together, it gets a little tacky here and there. Come on. So you can see, that's what we're not going to keep. Oh, it's caught on this little tub. Oh, now my... Okay, there we go. So there we go. It's 100% flush welded, flush mounted, whatever you want to call it. This is ugliness. I'll just show you here. We gave it some ugly tacks, but again, this panel is going to be replaced up here. It's got a little bit of a bubble, but she's pretty straight. Straight enough for who it's for. Needs a little bit more work down there, but not too bad, right? I'm going for supper. Oh, there's dust all over the lens. I'm going for supper. And then we'll come back out and we'll tackle this rocker. We'll cut it out. Again, this one's nice. The jam's in good shape, so we can get lots of strength welding it in there. And this panel is irrelevant. Done a little bit of plasma action. We got ourselves a hot rod. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a ways later. Hit dinner pretty hard. Anyway, gotta force yourself back out here. Tossed on the deck lid. Fits finish. Tri-5s famously, the deck lids, like they're like a 90, but they always kind of stick out a little bit. This one has no hinges on it, so it is kind of cattywampus, but it's fine. Man, honestly, Tri-5s, they always look terrible without glass and without their little back section, or I don't know what. It looks kind of ugly. And I know everyone gives me attitude because I always do work with glass in the cars and all that, but I don't know, it's motivational. I like the way it looks, so it's fine. But really, we're gonna have a lot of welding done on this. I got to order the front windshield. I have all the side. I think I have all the side glass and regulators and all that. And I got some miscellaneous trim. I have no idea how it goes together, but I'd like to kind of start piecing that in there. Obviously, once we get the floors in, and maybe I'll tape the glass up or something. We'll see. Anywho, running out of steam. Definitely. We're gonna get the rocker installed. Install it, at least tacked in. We'll see how far I make it tonight. I would like to kind of keep some of these braces. So I think I'm just gonna ugly cut the floor and everything right out, get the rocker out. This one's not in bad shape on the top, but the sides, well, it's pretty tough, I guess. But it's just got metal pop riveted on there, I believe. Yeah, like we can't have that junk. So we'll cut that out, we'll get a new one in, get it tacked, and then tomorrow, when I have more energy, I will we'll cut the whole floor out and go from there. And then when we're lifting the thing, we'll have the doors closed, so it'll have all the strength there. I guess I'm needed for something. Well, there you have it. 26 minutes of time lapse, and the rocker is installed. Basically, as long as the door still opens and closes, I'm gonna call it a win. We did roughly the same as we did on the last video over there. Man, this thing is like coming together in a hurry. You know, I made a mistake. I said, you know, this is going to be worth like 10 grand. The amount of people are like, I'll give you 10 grand for it when it's done. I'm like, I may have made a mistake. Anywho, door opens, closes, it's in there. It's just kind of flailing the breeze at the back because that was just all junk metal, so it's literally only on this little section kind of right there. But tomorrow I will cut out majority of the floor. I tried saving these end caps. That one's rotted, but this back brace, they always rot out, obviously. And if you can keep them, they sell end caps basically from this side of the frame over. They're like 50, 60 bucks each. So if you can keep them and reuse them, or repurpose them on, let's say, another Tri-5 Chevy you have in the other garage, then it's kind of handy to have them. So I'll chop those up. Same with like all the e-brake stuff and everything. I always keep all of that because you never know when you're going to need it. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it for tonight. And tomorrow we'll chop everything out. Should go fine. Plasma. Save what we can, and then I might get in there and kind of weld up the rockers a little better. That side really needs some work, but we'll do a few things. But realistically, at that point, we'll put the other door on, and as long as the doors are shut, the rockers are in. I mean, we can lift this thing, and it's gonna have some flex to it, but it's not gonna be bad as far as I'm concerned. Realistically, the floor wasn't giving this thing a whole lot of structure anymore, just simply the way it was kind of cut. There was a little bit of floor here, but it was cut all the way to the toe board and over. The only part of the floor actually joined front to back was that little section right there. And you get a lot of strength into the floor in these things, you know, especially not being a post car, being a hardtop. There was not a whole, and that one rocker was junk. I mean, there was not a whole lot holding this car together. So you can kind of move back and forth, but there's enough room. You know, it's tight back there on the door, but we got a gap at the front, so we can adjust all that out of it and make it work. I'm excited to get those other doors and the floor pan. Hopefully it'll happen soon, but yeah, back tomorrow. Delete that, and that should be the big mess. I got my little pile there, but this is the ugly part of tearing cars apart. So much grossness, rat shit, you know, road grime and rocks and stuff like that from 50 years worth of stuff. But you do get to step back, kind of look at yourself, and you got well, the world's rattiest 57 Chevy in my garage right now. But I'll see you guys tomorrow with the plasma. Well, it's a new day. Just got home from work. Actually, on the way home from work, I picked up the floor pan. So that's fantastic. So I guess we're doing next video, floor pan. So I'm feeling pretty motivated. I definitely am going to make a heck of a mess tonight yet to get prepared. I might put it in tonight, but it might be a new video. But I do want to get as much of the kind of ugliness out of here. Trying to work clean. Not always the best, but I'm getting better at it. So I think what we'll do, we'll cut this little section out real quick. We'll kind of weld a little patch in just so it's something. Get it tacked in. Nothing too crazy. Same as before. We'll just kind of slice it and move it and do whatever. Then I'll probably pull the plasma out from next door and just axe all this junk out. I'll probably be nice across here with the zip disc because see that line right there? That's where the floor is going to go. So we are missing some bits, but go across there, make it look decent. The toe board on the driver's side is savable-ish. I mean, we could probably do something with it. And then I'll probably just blindly cut across here somewhere. And we'll match the new floor to it because the back section is fine. The floor pan actually goes all the way up and over and in, but this section never rots out. So why mess with it? And then to do that, you got to take all this bracing out and all sorts of stuff. It's kind of one of those catch-22. This way, there's a big seam you got to weld across there, which is kind of ugly. Otherwise, you have to take all this out and then weld it up there, which is less, I guess, less work welding and less finish work, but a lot more screwing around to get it all fit. So, way she goes. I do have to figure out how these hard top little post deals work because I've never had to deal with those. Again, I might just cut them out and weld them back in because that's probably the easiest way of doing everything as it turns out. But maybe they're not too bad. We'll figure something out. But we got a grinder and we got a welder, and that's all you need to put metal together. So let's get started off under here. I'll get that weld real quick. So just tack it in real quick job, and then we'll destruct those floors. Okay, so it's patched up. I would love to know, like, that's like an axe or something hatchet in that. Originally I was thinking maybe it was for like trying to clear for a distributor, but I think I'd be more centered. Well, I guess that's about center. Yeah, so it's a little offset. I don't know why they would do that. Maybe it was bullet hole, rust hole, who knows, but whatever. I'll store that there. Anyway, I'm gonna get cleaned up a little bit, move everything out of the way, bring the plasma over. So we're using all this stuff. I got it from Great Western Saw, but prime welder stuff, I gotta say, man, the guy told me to be a good welder. It's working good for me. So yeah, it was cheap. So I'm trying to get it. The budget theme here, we're maintaining the budget theme. So we'll cut all this out, and then I'll make a hell of a mess, have some supper. Danny made a bunch of pasta and cheese, so you know what you want to do after eating a bunch of pasta and cheese is get back to work. So we'll see what happens tonight. Well, there we have it. I mean, I gotta clean up around the edge. I'll do that with a zip cut. This will be all next video stuff. Zip cut that. The back came out okay. I think these little braces should be pretty easy to deal with. And then I just gotta be ginger up against the kind of side, the body there. But what I want to do is I think hang the doors on it, and then I'll kind of close one door, work on one side, kind of work back and forth a little. And yeah, like I said, we're probably gonna cut it probably about where the wheel well kind of starts, or maybe a little past. I'm not really too sure. But the other floor's in the truck. I'm going to unload that. In the meantime, the guy has the other doors, so I'm going to run down and pick up the better doors. And then we can test fit those and make them fit proper. Front clip off, and then, yeah, kind of a little bit of prep in here. Cutting, grinding, welding. We'll prep the floor, and we should be able to slide it in. So, again, we're going to do it all at home without any special tools or anything like that. But the batteries are dead. The SD cards are full. I think we made a fair bit of progress as far as I'm concerned. Get yourself a Chinese, you know, whatever, plasma cutter if you can, because, man, it makes life a lot easier. And I know the floor pan is an expense, and I'll talk about next video. I do get a bit of a discount because I buy a lot of sheet metal, but it makes life so much easier, makes for a nicer repair. Could you put stop signs down, all that? Absolutely. Depending on where you are in the US, I know there's no rules whatsoever. We got inspections here, and solid floorboards and rockers and all that are like instant fails. And realistically, if you got a solid body and you got good brakes and suspension and steering, everything else is pretty much, you know, piece of cake. Headlights, high beams, turn signals, horn, and you're rolling. So that's what I'm doing for now. It's actually quite a nice day out. The sun is about to set, so I'd like to get some of this stuff moved. Yeah, that's the mess you're gonna make. Chunks O floorboard. So if you want anything good, make sure you keep it. This is e-brake stuff, so I will. This is all bent to shit, but we'll keep this stuff. It's all good to have. Put it in the miscellaneous bin of, oh, I must have it in the basement. Bin of stuff, Tri-5 stuff. If you're in a one kind of car, keep those little things. Makes life a lot easier. Yeah. Again, thanks for watching. Please comment below, and please do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It makes stuff like this very possible, and I enjoy it. So I will see you on the next one. Good night.